oftentimes they're creating both communities and projects. So on the community side, we've got a couple new communities that are related to that NSSL has created, and they're starting to use it. Most of these are restricted, or they all are restricted communities, and they're being used for like the ITS group there. And I believe Kong Mang, I might be pronouncing his name wrong, he's actually going to be supporting their efforts, or he is supporting their efforts in using the virtual lab. So we welcome him. There also are some, was a new community for a satellite help desk, and so that's come on board. And there's another one regarding it's the NCFRC runoff risk, and so water related. And so those are a few of the new communities. We've got about 6 over the last month since we last met. On the project side, there are actually more on that. There have actually been a lot of new projects, ranging from AWIPS related projects, like a just-in-time training plugin that's being developed, a GLM Lightning Decoder project, a general visualization tools project that NSSL is using. There's also the Storm Surge has created a new project on here, and we've had one on the ocean side, which they called Tides, and we're working with them. That came in last week, and we're working with them on finalizing things with my team. And then also an overland oil spill model. So that's just actually all within the last week. All of those have been created. There were some others dealing with verification and some runoff risks, and so we've actually had quite a few new projects that have been created. But so anyway, that's that. In terms of development activities, we're focused again on putting in place a single sign-on solution. We're having to come up with some of that ourselves. We were hoping that the open source communities would have progressed, and they have to a certain extent, but not on all of the packages and open source software that we're using within the virtual lab. But we're just beginning to work in earnest on that. A couple of the team members have started spinning up on, there was a request a number of months back for an ideas marketplace, and so that is ties into the work that's been done with the NOAA project repository. And so we're just kicking off that task as well. So so those are a few of the things that we're working on. I guess one last thing to mention is that Mike Giebler, who's one of our core developers, he's been doing a lot of work recently in developing some new portlets that will actually show you projects from the Redmine side, from the development services side, as well as like your issues, so that you'll be able to log into the collaboration services side and see that information dynamically from there. So, and then once a single sign-on's in place, just transparently click and get right over to where you need to go. So I think some new exciting things, and so I think that's a good summary for the moment, unless anyone else can think of something else that you'd like to mention to the group.
That's great, Ken. Could you explain just a little bit about what the project, what is it? Oh, now I'm drawing a blank.
The Impacts Catalog? I'm sorry, the Ideas Marketplace?
Yeah, exactly what that is for people who may not be familiar.
Yeah, sure. So the idea there is that when groups within the Weather Service and NOAA as a whole have some they're bouncing back and forth on some idea, and they want to basically see, is this a good idea? Is this something that should potentially be developed? Should we move forward and establish a project and start actual development on it? The concept is that they want somewhere to basically upload or store those ideas so that others can see it, so that as people they wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh, that'd be great, they could go out here, look to see, hey, has someone else already done this? Is work being completed? Is there an established project? And so that's the concept behind it. And so how we're looking at fostering it, and Eastern region within the Weather Service, Ken Johnson was the primary person that brought this idea to our attention, is that they wanted a way, basically a repository of ideas, and then associated with each idea you would have a forum discussion, you'd have related documents, you'd have related, be able to comment on it, rate the idea, and then also a key part of this is, now that we have the No Projects repository, is a natural progression of an idea is that it could go from an idea potentially to a project. And so those two need to play amongst each other, or play well with each other, and allow us to enable users to enter information as an idea, and then once it matures, or if it does mature, transition it not just from an idea but to a project. So that's kind of the concept behind it. We see lots of ways in which it could be used. So if you're within a community, you could have associated ideas, ideas that are related to that community, and likewise for development service projects. So anyway, that's an overview of the ideas marketplace.
Great. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. I think we'll hear, that's a custom portlet that's being developed. But there are ways that you can use existing functionality within the VLab to accomplish similar kinds of information gathering type activities. And we'll look at one of those here in just a few minutes. But I think Ken makes a good point that I don't think things have ever been busier for the Virtual Lab support team in terms of the number of projects that are being added, interesting communities, and just general activity. So it's definitely a busy time for us, but we're eager to do what we can to make the VLab a useful resource for everybody. All right, and one way we try to make it a useful resource is by providing some training on various aspects of LifeRay and how these might be used within your communities. And we do those through what we call LifeRay demos. And up first this afternoon, we have Laura Cottrell, a member of the admin group on the Virtual Lab support team, and she's going to be talking about DDLs, dynamic data lists, and how they can be used perhaps within your community. So let me give Laura presenter role. There we go. All right, Laura, you should be able to show your screen.
On mute. On mute.
Yep. Good point. Where'd it go?
Oh, it's on the staff.
Oh, she moved over. Okay, good. Yeah, hold on just a second, Laura. I'm unmuting you now. Okay, we should now be able to hear you. Take it away.
Okay, thank you, John. A dynamic data list is an easy way to create and display data types. It's similar to what you can do with a spreadsheet. The dynamic data list lets community owners create custom sets of data and allow users to add info and enable access to the data. For example, if you want your community members to sign up for something, or you want to post a notice for members to input data. So there are three main steps involved. One is to create the custom sets of data. The second is to allow the user to add the information. And the third is to access the data. So I'm going to demonstrate this using the focal point community. The first step you would do is to add the content. You would choose dynamic data list. You want to add. So I will like to choose some members of the VLab Focal Point to give a demonstration, for example. So there's no, I need to select a data definition. So I'm going to add a data definition. Presentation, really. So it's going to be pretty simple. I would just like to not ask people to nominate someone. So I'm going to call this field nominees. And I will make this required for users to input the data to give a name for the nominees. The next, I would like to say use a selection box to choose topics. So these will be topics. So we can do this if we want to. We could start to ask people if you want someone to give a discussion. If you want a focal point member to give a discussion, you could ask. Maybe somebody wants to give a discussion about tornadoes. These are just examples. Let's say storm surge. Maybe you want someone to talk about the oppressive heat. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to save it. Let me go back and edit. Edit the data definition. I wanted to make some changes to it. All right, I'll change it, go back and change it later. I wanted to add a date field to that.
So, Laura, at the very top there, you see Manage Data Definitions.
Oh, okay. That's the existing edit here?
Correct.
Okay. All right, let me add a date. So for the dates where you can choose the dates of the focal point meetings, which are the fourth Wednesday of the month. I'm going to add a text box for people to give comments or suggestions, I'll say. All right, that may be enough to give an idea of what I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm going to close that. So the next thing I will do is I can go back to the community and add a place for this to be on the page. Add the display. I'll change it back. Maybe I'll add it here. I will select the, uh-oh, that may have been the wrong thing, right?
Laura, I think you can just
Yes.
click on the number, select the list. Oops.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'd recommend going back and then select the list.
All right, select the list.
And then literally click on the ID number on the left.
Oh, okay. I did this earlier a few times. I didn't do that step. I
think that's that'll do it for you.
You have to save it at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I will. Oh, that's the list. I needed to input the form too. I need to add no one is there yet. I didn't add the person, but I want to add the form actually. There we go. I will add the form before.
So this is an important point, is that there are two different portlets here. One of them, the form, just allows for entry of the data, and then the display will display all entries. It also allows you to enter data. So there are two different use cases there.
On this selection, this choice, I will choose allow multiple submissions because it will give a user to nominate more than once. So I will give an example. So here is the form that I just created using a dynamic data definition. So I would like to nominate, just for example, I would say Kim Runk. Let's say I would like Kim Runk to give a discussion about storm surge. I will pick the next meeting. Maybe Kim Runk needs time to prepare, so I'll pick the next meeting in September, maybe the 23rd of September. And I could say, feel free to change the topic. Not feel free to decline giving the demo. Smile. So then we should be able to see that we got one nominee for the discussion. I'm not sure if you can make this anonymous or not. Maybe I don't want Kim Runk to know that I was the person who nominated. Are there any questions? So those were the three steps involved. One was we created the data definitions. That's when we chose the fields that we wanted to display in the form. We put the form on the page. That gave me the ability to enter into the data. And then the third was adding the dynamic data display, and that's the third step. Now there is an additional step which I would like to discuss at a future meeting, and that's to integrate the list into the workflow. So in this way, these dynamic data lists are very powerful and flexible. The workflow is similar to a routing slip, a physical paper routing slip, but it'll be an electronic version, and I will give that discussion at a future meeting. Does anyone have any questions about this?
Laura, what would the value of workflow be for such a form, say? What could you do with the workflow?
The workflow would allow you to receive the information and to target which person you want the information to whom you want to receive the information. It's similar to a routing slip. So if you need someone's approval first before it goes on to another level, that's the idea behind the workflow.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Does anyone have a question for Laura? If so, raise your hand, or you're welcome to submit a question through the interface. Anyone have a question about DDLs, web form-ish kinds of things? All righty. If you think of something later on, we can certainly bring Laura back on during the roundtable to answer any lingering questions. All righty. Well, thank you very much, Laura. We really appreciate that additional insight into DDLs and forms.
Okay,
What's that?
Nothing. I was saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All righty. Let me take presenter roles back.
Right, but outside there.
And, I think it's me. Nope. So that's me. Okay, we'll cross our fingers. Make presenter. There we go. Okay, we're back. Okay, so the next topic we'd like to talk about is wikis, and a powerful tool within the VLab for collaboration and also for disseminating information. And so we've got another member of the admin staff, Tatiana Gonzalez, who will teach us a little bit about how to use wikis. Here you go, Tatiana.
Hi. Closer.
This thing?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to talk a little about the wikis, but most likely.
If you go to the left, there you go. Keep going.
Okay. If you already edit or use the wiki online, you already know how to handle wikis on VLab because we use the same system or method. Okay. Okay, so because the only difference about wiki on VLab is that VLab uses nodes, and a node is just basically a way to say you have a different wiki page. There are two ways to add a wiki on VLab. One is through the wiki itself, and the other one is through a wiki display, which is pretty much, they have slight differences, but they have the same strong capabilities. But it will depend on what you how you like to manage the content. With wiki, if you use only the wiki, you will have access to all wikis available on your community, or even on the if your community is a sub community, you will also have access to their wikis of your parent community. If you use a wiki display, you will be able to limit your audience. Let's say you want to only have it available to a group of people. You will use this wiki display and add it to the page or the page you want to use. The way you differentiate them is that the wiki is just a square. It can only be added once because you only need it once because you have access to all the wikis. The wiki display will have the 4 squares, which is you can have multiple wiki displays in one page. And let me show you. Oh, I'm sorry. You can use 3 different languages when you edit wiki, which is this is global for any wiki. Wikipedia is the same thing. You can use purely HTML or classic. So it's basically whatever you prefer to use or whatever you feel more comfortable. Today I'm only going to talk about Creole because it's easier. It's the most common language that Wiki uses because I believe it was invented by the Wiki owner or inventor. And so I can set them all. Let's go on VLab to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so
I was signed in. Feel free to go wherever you want.
okay. I did my
Test 2. Okay, I'm not a member of that one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you know how to access it?
Yeah, if you go to admin, yeah, and then control panel, and there'll be one for communities in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Now you can scroll down to test 2.
Is it alphabetically?
Let's go to the last. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
So I think you just click on it. And then you'll have to show pages, I guess. Okay, so view pages right there on the, yeah, right there. Okay. Now you're where you want to be.
Public page? No. Okay, let me go back. No, it's test community, sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
Just test 1.
Yeah, just test 1, but the private.
Ah,
Sorry, I got
private.
confused about the community.
It may have been test 2.
Yeah, I think it was test 2.
Okay. I would just back click on the back arrow, because that'll take us back to the, get going.
Oh, no,
Must be there.
let's log out.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
It can be done, but it's more painful.
Yeah. I had it on my account.
Yeah. It can be a little slow on this machine.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sorry for I created that on my account and I didn't count that John was not a member of the community I was using. Anyway, so to add a wiki, you just here, if you're a project owner, if you're a community owner, you will have this top bar. So to add a wiki, you just add, and then you can just scroll up and down or just type wiki and use the search engine. Right now, since I already have, on the right side, since I already have a wiki, this is grayish, which means that I cannot add another wiki display, but I can add a wiki display. You can just click add or just drag and drop. Then let me go over the wiki first before I add another node. So once you have a wiki, you just basically edit the way you will edit a wiki with the curly. Just click edit and you modify the content. You can, as in any VLab portlet, you can add tags. You can make it more specific, and on the top side you can if you already have an existing wiki, you can search in the history. You can look for details. If you have in the history, if you have a previous version, you can go back and restore this version or compare it to the previous one, and so this is very nice if you want to if you edit and then you didn't like it, you just go to a previous version, or if you're describing a system, you can have version 1 and version 2 according to your program or whatever you're using. Once you're done editing, you publish, and here you have it. Now, if you want to add a node, you'll have to go to admin, content, wiki, and then you add a wiki. In this case, I already added a node, so I'm going to use this one. And on the node, just for example, I created several pages inside the node. So I'm just going to go back to the wiki demo to show you what I did. So in here on the right side, to add the wiki display that I previously created, I can select the node, which is the wiki taste node, then save, and then I will have, and then once I save it, I will have access to all the nodes, to all the different pages that I created. And I can use the front page, the main page, and here I have it. Now, on the wiki display, I can limit my audience. I can go back to configuration, go on the upper left side with permissions, and limit my audience. But if I can create a group, which I think we once went over it. We can create a group, or we can just use it as you have it available only for approvers or reviewers, or the group you would like to have access to. Now, if you see on the upper left on the wiki, I do have access to this wiki node, which is the same one I created. But if I want to have a hidden page, I can do it by creating it under a node, which is the other examples that I have. So in here, I'm showing just the front page. With the front page is the default page, is the one that unless you limit, everybody is going to have access. But the other ones are the ones that are going to be hidden unless you specify that you don't want it to be hidden. But here, you have a wiki that's only access to the wiki display, which it's one of the advantages of having it this way is that it doesn't get crowded on the wiki, because you can have multiple wikis without and with different topics, and they have the same capabilities. You can use the search engine and search for on both. You can divide topics so they don't so you don't mix them, and you can have the tabs here on the top that are going to be the same topics on the wiki and different topics on the wiki display. So it's however you prefer to have it. You can what is it? You can on the wiki you can have instructions, images, and as in any wiki, if you want to do a search on only attachments or only links that you provided, you can do a search on that. It will be on incoming links or outgoing links. I don't have any links, so you won't see that. But you can access to all the attachments that you previously uploaded to your users. So I think that's it. I mean, they both have their powerful advantages, and it's basically how you prefer to use, which one you prefer to use, which is the wiki or the wiki display.
Cool. All right. Does anyone have any questions for Tatiana?
What's the learning curve for being able to create your own wiki?
Oh, it's very simple because Creole is kind of a, how can I say it? It's a self-explanatory language, which let me show you.
Sure. Oh, go ahead.
So if you don't know anything about creating a wiki, how long would it take for you to learn what you need to set up a wiki for your purposes?
Oh, it's very, very simple. Let me create one, because that's the easiest way to show you. And
so within half a day, or would it take longer than that?
Oh, less, because it's
How fast a typer are you?
Yeah. Because that's one of the nice things that we have on. I probably should have mentioned that. The nice thing about VLab is that you have kind of like a cheat sheet on the right side. So you pretty much copy, but if you want to have a header, you copy what's on the right side and text. So
Are you in source mode?
no, I'm just on the regular
WYSIWYG.
Yeah, WYSIWYG.
Yeah.
So pretty much I can just follow the cheat sheet and add what's on the right side. If I want to go more complicated, there's a link here, learn more, and it basically gives you a copy paste of what you want to do, which is the Creole. And if you want to use italics, just copy that link, copy what you have here. You probably, if you want to attach an image, just search here for the image, and then you can just copy paste it and change the link, change the attachment. Now VLab is nicer because once you publish, and edit again. Which one was this? It identify which oh, it's not here, but on the when you edit on the display here. It's already predefined which language do you have, so you will here you'll have the headings, so you can just type something, highlight, and then you can select the headings, and on the right side you know which heading you're using. So when you publish, it has already been added to the table and contents, and it's ready for you to add it, to keep editing, and it's considered to be as another, either a bullet or a page, however you're doing it. So
Tatiana, can you go into edit, please, and show the source there?
Oh, yes. Source.
So if you really know Creole really well, you can just go ahead, type it in there, and you don't have to use the WYSIWYG, I guess, right, Ken?
Yeah, so that's the point. So the syntax help on the right, that's going to allow you to do pretty much anything there, as well as where Tatiana showed you the, further guidance. That's the next tab over. So that's giving you the syntax for Creole. If you want to, you can just, if you're doing simpler things, you can just use the WYSIWYG editor, which if you deselect source, it takes you into that by default. So that's going to give you, you see it, you're going to see what you want, and what you see is what you get, WYSIWYG. So anyway, but my only other comment is, great presentation, Tatiana, is that the wiki display versus wiki, those are both two different portlets. And so when you get a new community, you get a wiki by default. The wiki display and wiki portlet, both the display and the wiki portlet and the wiki display portlet are just different ways of viewing that content. And as Tatiana went through, the wiki portlet gives you some more options in terms of displaying more information and things like that, the different nodes, which are, like she just explained, additional instances of the wiki. So you can have separate instances of wiki within a community. But the main thing is you get a wiki by default, and you can go in, and I think probably the most useful thing to community owners is oftentimes you're going to want to display a particular page, and by default it's going to display the child pages under that. So.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention is that if you already have a wiki somewhere else, since they all use the same language, with VLab you can upload the wiki, and it will be available for your community.
Yeah, the other thing that I think is useful at times too is that your community members may want to subscribe to a wiki to know when is something changing. So maybe Tatiana, could you show that real quick, how you do that?
Yeah, you go, well, there are several ways. You go to details and then subscribe.
Right.
And then you will get an email every time someone edits or creates a wiki.
Yeah, and if you go into the edit mode real quick too, there's another point to mention.
And here, the content?
Yeah, content, edit. And then scroll down, please. Keep going down. So if I remember correct, is there a little bit higher up maybe? I think there's an option. So you see that little checkbox up there right below the description of the changes, where it says this is a minor edit? That comes into play with the subscription. So people that are subscribed, if when you're making an edit, if you check that box, people that are subscribed to changes won't get notified. But if it's unselected, which is the default, they're going to get an email notifying them. And in that email, it's not, I think it's really cool in that it not only says, hey, this file has been updated, this wiki file has been updated, it's also going to show you, the differences between the pages. So you know right off the bat, without actually having to go into the VLab, what's changed between, with the most recent version. So.
Yep. So you can see that this would be a reasonably powerful tool if you wanted to collaboratively develop a document or, say, a set of procedures or something like that, where people can, edit this. You can then manage it. If you see something that looks good, then you just let it go. If you see something that's not quite right, then you can revert back to the previous version and press ahead from there.
One thing that I really like that I don't know if you guys, it will be useful for you guys or not, but I really like this, is that on the attachments, so you can add an attachment. Where is it? So this is an attachment, but instead of attaching as a file, I link to the image. So basically a live feed because it's an URL, and it's being fed by, I think I pulled this one from the main page of the National Weather Service. So with Wiki, you can do that. You can just, if you want to add an image that's constantly being updated, you can just add it as the URL, and it will be always changing if you want to be always up to date. So, but that's something I like. I don't know if it's useful for other people.
So would you, let's say, I noticed there's an option for adding a child page. How do you link to the child page?
Well, let me get out of here. So if you create a child page, you just click here, add a child page, and it will be basically a wiki by itself. But the only difference is that you will always have a link underneath that page, the one that you are adding a child page, because each wiki has its own independent child pages.
Mm-hmm.
So you will just create your own child page, do it as however you want, and then just
if you go back on the, so Tatiana, on the right there under the syntax, if you, I think John probably saw it too. There's
it shows you the double brackets, I guess it is, on either side.
Yep.
There it is. Yeah, third box down on the right where it says links. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, up at the so you just include the name of the page.
Oh, wait.
Probably one of those. All right.
So if you wanted to have a link embedded within your wiki page to another page, rather than relying upon the what's at the bottom of the page, you can do that. So it's really easy to do. And I think, in fact, if you do that and it, let's say you give it a name and that page doesn't exist yet, it'll highlight it in red when you publish it. And I believe if you click on it, you can create the page right there. So.
Ooh. All righty. Well, thank you very much, Tatiana. I think we all now know a lot more about wikis. All right. So let's see. Looking at the agenda, I see we're now at the Fast Facts segment of our meeting. And it's at this point in the meeting where the Virtual Lab support team, through our user support function, try to bring some topics to the table that we've encountered since we last got together. And so these are things that people might commonly or have asked, and we feel that they might be of relevancy to other folks as well. So, yes? Oh, Dan, do you have a, let's see, let me check real quick. Let's see. So can you add a document wholesale? Dan, I'm going to unmute you so we can hopefully talk to you about your question. Go ahead, Dan. Yes, we can.
Yeah, so, okay, great. So the question is, can you add a document wholesale, in other words, import a document into either the wiki or the DDL? Or do you have to create it from within?
Go ahead, Tatiana. Take the wiki first.
Okay. Well, for the wiki, yes, you can add a document. You can add it as an attachment. You can always on the lower left, you can have attachments, and just click there and add attachments. You can have it this way, or you can have it as a link where you need to upload that to VLab. And Ken, do you remember how to do it that way, or?
So if you go back to that wiki syntax, like when you're editing, so Tatiana's right. The first approach is what she's showing here, and that is you click on Add Attachment, and then if you go and edit, and then you'll see.
Right there. Oh, you passed it. There you go. Go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead and click on edit on one of those pages, like on the left. So edit the wiki. I'm sorry, not the page itself, but within your wiki, I want you to edit that wiki page. And then go ahead and scroll down. I'm looking for the syntax help. And on the wiki display, it doesn't show you that help.
Okay.
Do it on the left-hand side.
So the edit is at the top. Oh, there it is.
Okay, so on the syntax files, scroll on down. So the steps would be this. Not all the way. Sorry, we want to see the help.
I think there's a bit of a lag, so Ken is
Okay.
telling us to stop, and then. Okay, so we can see the image, other, and.
Yeah, so you can see if you, I think if you scroll up a little bit more, there you go. So so what you could do then is if you're attaching it, you can actually reference it by using those curly braces. It's going to be smart enough that if it's not something that it can display in style, that would be fine. The other thing you can do is you can just have a link. Let's say it's a Google Doc or something like that. That's an option for you as well. And so that would be, so like the links there, what you see up above the second one on the link. If you don't use, if you give it a URL, it's going to know that that's going off-site. So right up above links, so you'll see that there. So those are a couple of your options. And so, yeah, does that answer your question, Dan?
Let me unmute you, Dan.
Right. One other thing you can do, if say you've got an HTML document, you can just cut and paste your HTML directly into the wiki, and that would be one other way to add it.
So,
yeah, if you're sorry.
No, okay. So I think that's telling me that the answer is yes. So what happens to that document? Can you edit it from within the wiki page, or do you have to go to the in the case where it resides at a URL, you have to go to that URL to edit it?
Yeah. So if you're talking about an HTML type page,
or Google Drive, Google Doc,
or a Google Doc, yeah, the source then resides on Google, so that's where you do your editing. So if it's HTML, it could be created as a wiki page. Here, you'd have to change the formatting to HTML rather than Creole, and display it here, and then you would modify it in-house. So it just kind of depends on does the actual source for the document that you're referencing reside.
So if I import the document so that it resides in the wiki, what happens when that document is edited? Are notices generated? Does it update the document version, and just remains one version?
Yeah, if you are controlling the document through the VLab as a wiki, then all the rules and things that we've discussed apply. So in other words, and that's an excellent, like John mentioned earlier, that's an excellent way of managing a document is through the wiki. And so then you can subscribe to it, you can see differences, and handle things that way. So.
Alrighty. Any last follow-ups, Dan?
So then the other venue would have been the with the DDL, and I don't remember if the answer to that is yes. In other words, can I import a document wholesale into the DDL from, say, my local drive that I want to create as a standing document?
So that's a different situation. What I suggest there is that if you normally what you have is you have a form, right? And so you're trying to collect information from people. Now, one potential scenario is that within that form, you want to enable them to upload attachments, and those could be documents like WordPerfect or Word, going back a few years, or something like that. But so what it is possible through the when Laura was going through and defining the definition, which are the the form elements. One of them, I believe, is a document library, and so that does enable you to have the ability to. They'd have to actually upload a document to the document library, but then you could select it within the form. So that's an option. And if you have specific cases too, don't be shy about asking for a consultation, and then we can help with that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I have a standing table that I want to, or spreadsheet file that I want to share with a limited number of NOAA folks, but maintain it as a standing document where people can not only access the information but perhaps edit as needed. So I'm thinking the wiki may be the best fit to that project, but I'm open to hearing other advice or comments.
Yeah, my first guess is, without knowing a lot of or very much about the spreadsheet, is I would say that the wiki is probably going to be your best bet.
It's going to be mostly alphanumeric columns, so, no other strange objects there, just alphanumeric information.
Okay, yeah, that should work fine for you.
All righty. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the fast facts real quick. Of course, because they're fast, it won't take us long to get through them. So let's see here. And I'll just take us up initially into motion. Move this out of the way. Okay, so, oops, how did I get there?
Oh, I had it on
Previous. And previous. Okay, so the first one we had come across our support desk was an individual wanted to know if the VLab allowed for only HTTPS to access repositories. And it turns out that the situation is more complicated than just that. The answer is no. There are a lot of options. And so I created this little chart that you can see displayed, and I'll sort of go through it one at a time. So if your project repository is just a simple Git repo, then you need to use HTTPS. And the same goes for Subversion. So in those two cases, you would use HTTPS. If your repository is what we call a Garrett repository, meaning that it's the application that we use for code review is acting as a sort of a front end to your repo, then you sort of have a couple options. You can use HTTPS to clone it, or you can use the SSH. And so for this third item, it's important to note that you can only have one repository that can be cloned using HTTPS. Many projects only have one repository, so you can certainly use HTTPS at that point. But if you do happen to have multiple repositories, then the cloning process needs to take place with the other repositories through SSH. So hopefully that is clearer than mud at this point. And then the final point to note is that if you're in the process of pushing your changes for review, then you're limited to using SSH. And you notice this is SSH over port 29418. So if you are a project manager, this information could be very useful for you as you begin to get used to using the VLab to manage your repository. Okay, so let's take a look at another question that we had. Is there a way to sort documents by date that the document was created or modified? And this was a bit of a, what we'll call a sort of a misunderstanding. So the individual was looking at a document media display, and they were thinking to themselves, you know, I thought I'd seen this so that you could, you know, sort this by date, and now suddenly I can't. And the thing that the individual didn't realize was that they, in fact, were looking at a different portlet. And so let's take a quick look at these two different portlets side by side. And let's see, so Tatiana is logged in.
Yeah.
So are you a member of the Virtual Lab Focal Point group? VLab Focal Point, yes, good. Okay, excellent. So we'll go to that community, and then I got a page for looking at the document portlet differences. So here we have on the left is the document and media display. And so this is one portlet available for community owners to use. And then on the right, we have the document and media portlet. And so as you can see, the left display portlet is very simple. There's not a lot of functionality that it's just basically used for presenting documents. And so you can see that if you click on one of the folders, it takes you down, shows you that there's an additional subfolder and some documents. And then you can click on the documents and you know, either view them or download them. But those are basically the limits of the display. Whereas the media, document and media portlet has the ability to not only view them, but you can add documents to the library. You can then sort documents by not only title, but create date, date modify. And so this is the portlet that the individual was expecting to encounter when they asked this question. And so it's simply a matter of letting them know that, oh, okay, if you want to be able to sort these documents, then what you need is the document and media display. And so that is an important point to remember when dealing with these two portlets.
So both portlets are looking at the same collection of files?
Right? Yeah.
You can limit the scope on the display. You can limit the scope. You can display only a folder.
So depending upon which portal I go through, I would see some documents, but not others?
Well, on the documents portlet, you have everything, all the folders that you have, unless they're restricted or limited. On the document display, you can limit the scope and display only a folder, and only only folder or that you have on your whole community.
Okay, so under one of them, you can limit the number of documents people are looking at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, you can select the root document. If we just wanted to show presentations, we'll choose this folder. There we go. And now, in the display, people would come in, and then they just see the folder. Where's the name of it?
Oh, this that you have a subfolder on it.
Yeah, action items. I don't see the name of the folder, but it's right here. So here's the name of the folder there. There was one subfolder. Oh, wait a minute. I thought I selected presentations. Let me try that again. I may have not chose it. Okay, so let's select the root folder. And my goal was to, let's see, can I back up? Okay, well, let's try selecting the fast facts and just to see if that'll work. All right.
say?
I believe that there's we've introduced an issue here.
Have we?
and it's, so there's an issue with this right now with the CSS, and we have, it's on my list to fix it. I can get to that quickly. I'd forgotten about it.
Okay.
So.
All right. But I think the general idea is that you should be able to select at what point in your document library an individual would see content displayed. And you simply use this link here to select it, then you choose it, and then from then on, when people look at that portlet, they would see the documents of that particular, in this case, folder. And there currently is a minor glitch with doing that. All right. Did you have any other questions?
No, I just want to get a perspective on what the difference is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now let me turn to the third and final fast hack. Let me just quickly display it. So if you've been very observant during our meeting today, you'll have already been able to figure this out. But we had an individual wanting to know, well, geez, I've got this great community, and I really kind of want to amp it up a bit and do some cool stuff. You know, what kind of functionality is available to me sort of out of the box? And they were unaware of the ability to add portlets. And so we've seen a number of portlets already added. And if we go to, let's see, okay, so back to my focal point. I have created a portlet playground, and perhaps you as a community owner may want to do something similar so that you can then play around with some portlets. And the way you do that is you, as a community owner, will be able to go to the control panel. I'm sorry. No. Go to the Add button, and it presents you with this nice, well-organized list of portlets that are available to any community owner. And you can see they're organized in certain areas. So this one is sort of highlighted for the day kind of thing. But there's also topical areas such as collaboration, community, content management, and so forth. And so what you may want to do when you have a brief moment is to pull this up, go through here, and kind of play around and see what the different portlets are. Now, I mentioned a couple that, let's see if I can quickly remind myself what the first one is. So let's take a look at the nested portlet. So you can see an example of that here. What you would do is select the nested portlet. It would then appear on your page. You can then add additional portlets, essentially in 2 columns. So this is a way to bring a bit of structure to your page. As you begin to build out your content, you may want to, you know, kind of group things together, and this allows you to do that. And so, you know, you may not want the, you know, sort of the box around your content, so you can go up here and use, whoops, sorry, whoops. You want to go up here and look and feel, and then you can get rid of the border. So now you have, you know, what did I do? Oh, hold on a second. Yes, sometimes you have to refresh.
Refresh is required.
Yeah, I'm looking for the refresh. Here it is. Okay. Yes, thinking. All right. So now it's gotten rid of the borders, and yet your portlets are nice and organized. And you know, you can do this within, you know, sometimes you can set up the page to have multiple formats, but 2 columns, say. But within one of those columns, you could then put this nested portlet where you could then have them grouped together. So kind of a cool thing if you're interested in making your page look nice. There's also one called Community Members Directory. And who doesn't want to build a bit of community within their community by letting visitors know who all's a member? This would be a nice thing for your front page there, where people come landing on your group. They can see who are the members and know who else to contact for, you know, additional collaboration, for example. And then another one which you might kind of find interesting is this thing called a tag cloud. And within your group, within your community, if you're using tags to categorize your documents, categorize your content, then as people add information, this cloud tag will sort of give them a sense, or you, a sense of the relative weight of these different tags. So you might want to, get an idea of, what are people talking about? Are they talking about models? Are they talking about analysis? Are they talking about ensembles? And so by putting this cloud tag somewhere on your page, it helps you visualize just what's going on in terms of these documents and the tags that they carry. And then there's a community sitemap portlet, which allows you to see all the various nested pages within your community. So as you build it out and you want people to easily navigate through the community, this page may be of help to you. And so there are many portlets like this that if you go back and explore the add portlet functionality, you may find something in it that piques your interest or meets your need, and this Fast Fact hopefully will help you do that. Okay, so that concludes our Fast Fact segment. Are there any questions on any of the Fast Facts? Okay, so let me quickly take a look at the people attendees. Let's see, anyone have any questions on the Fast Facts? All righty, it doesn't look like it, so I think we'll move on to our roundtable. And it's during this segment that we give you an opportunity to either ask questions of the Virtual Lab support team or give us an update on what you've been doing so that we have a sense of what people are up to and how they're using the VLab. So the way we do this is we just go through the list of folks who are attending and give them a chance to give us some thoughts. So we'll begin with, let's see, okay, Bradley, I don't think I'm going to be able to unmute you. Okay. It looks like if you want to ask or give us a comment, you can certainly submit something in the question segment and we'll relay it on to folks. Brian Risky, let me unmute you. Go ahead, Brian. Do you have anything for the group today?
Nope, John, nothing here.
All righty. Glad you could join us. All righty. Dan, did you have anything you would like to bring to our attention?
No, thanks. You've shown me a number of new cool things I was not aware, so I'll need to play with them and see how they work. I still struggle with the desire for an intuitive interface to some of the applications in VLab, and also to know when things get notified and when not. So, any help on that? I don't want to consume bandwidth on it, but any help on that would be appreciated.
Did you have something about that?
That is being done through the workflow, the notifications. So if in any portlet you can have a workflow, and if they edit something, you can have a notification to your email. Is that what you're looking for, or?
And is that something that can be configured so that if anybody else edits, there's notification, or some people generate and others do not generate notification? Can that be controlled?
Yeah, you can do it by creating a group, and then assigning to the portlets you wish to use a workflow with that group, and then you will have you can select to be notified every time they add something. The only thing is that not only you will have to get a notification, but you will, I believe you will have to approve, unless there's a way to have an immediate approval. Like, you will have to approve the content.
Mm-hmm. I think it can be configured that way so that there's no approval process.
Okay, so yeah.
So that's with workflow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you can subscribe to the wiki, or to the blogs, or to any of the existing portlets. The only thing is that those portlets needs to access before you can subscribe. And with the workflow,
they can what? Say that again.
With the subscription, the portlet needs to be created before you can subscribe. Like, you won't get notification if someone creates another wiki because you need to be subscribed to the wiki before that. I don't know. I think I made it way too complicated. You need to the portlets that you wish to subscribe need to access before you can subscribe.
Okay, that's going in a different direction. I figure that what I'm most keenly focused on is what generates notifications from within wiki data fields in either documents or entries from within.
Yeah, I recommend that we probably. I think we've done this in the past, but it's worth doing it again, especially since our membership has been growing to this team, and that is covering subscriptions and notifications. So there's not an easy, simple answer to it. It does kind of depend upon, it's a little bit different for wiki versus documents versus, message board. So.
Right. Thanks, Dan. We'll definitely put that on our list of things to cover at perhaps the next meeting. I think that'd be a nice topic to do.
Great, thank you.
Sure. All righty. Let's see. I think Dustin, you're up. Do you have anything for us, Dustin?
No, nothing specific. I really appreciate this. I'm pretty new at it, and I appreciate all the email feedback, and I look forward to trying to learn a little bit more about this in the future.
Okay, great. Well, we hope these meetings are serving part of that educational process. So keep coming. Thank you. All right, Evan, do you have anything for us this afternoon? Evan Polster? How about Jim Calkins?
Hey, John. I got one quick question. I'm pretty sure the answer to it is no, but I'll ask anyway. I've got, as it turns out, several hundred documents that I've uploaded to my community, and I'm managing them through the Documents and Media Portlet. Is there any way to make a second copy of those documents rather than uploading them again?
Ken, do you have any thoughts on that?
You want to make a second copy of them?
Yeah, without getting into too many specifics, because it's the AWIPS acquisition related.
Sure.
I need to maintain one copy of the files as they exist right now, but I'd also like to have another copy that I can update documents, whereas the first copy I need to maintain a certain version of the documents. If it can't be done, I can just upload them again, but I was trying to save myself a couple of hours of time.
Yeah, let me check and see. I know you can move documents. I don't know about copying.
Yeah, I saw the move option.
I'll do a quick check, and then I'll let you know very quickly. So sure.
All righty. Let's see. I'm wondering if nope. Okay, can't do that. Kate Howard, do you have anything for us this afternoon?
Yeah, I had a question about wikis. I may have missed it earlier, but if you have a wiki that you created outside of VLab, is it easy enough just to copy-paste it into VLab?
You can import it. You probably, well, I've never, I don't know if someone has imported a wiki, but there's the option to import a wiki, and if it has this, if you stick to the same language that a wiki has, it should work.
So let's see, where would she find that import?
Go to admin, content.
Yeah, it's thinking. You may want to give it a second. There we go.
And then go to Wiki. And you have to create, you have to add a wiki first. I'm going to use the one that's already here. And then, where's the import? Oops.
Part of the main
actions. Let me see.
Ken, are you familiar by any chance with the import option?
You know, I actually have not used that capability. I was just doing a quick search myself to see.
Yep.
I haven't used it either, but I know it's there.
Okay, let us get back to you on that.
Sure. Thanks, guys.
Oh, there it is. Hold on. We found it.
Sure.
It's third one down.
Oh, okay, here. Okay. So it's in actions. You have to create the wiki first, and then actions, and then import pages. And I mean, I've never done it, so we probably still will have to get back to you, but it should work.
Great, thanks, guys.
Thanks. Thanks for that question. Okay, let's see. Kong Meng, are you up? Do you have any comments for us?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to discuss a very big key point that Lance brought up, is that if we can have some kind of Google Drive integration into VLab, because a lot of the NSSL users are currently using the Google Drive, and if we can somehow integrate that into VLab, it will entice them to use VLab. And I've done some research, and there are some portlets called Google Drive Quick Links, and there's also a way to do it as a repository. I will let the technical team figure, if that is possible, but that would be a very key feature that would help with the NSSL integration into VLab.
Great. We welcome people who are interested in collaborating with us on making the VLab more useful. Did you provide us that portlet that you found because I know you created a ticket, I believe, on this topic.
Yes, I've already created a lot of different tickets regarding new features and bugs into the VLab Redmine ticketing system. And I've already, I believe I've already contacted a customer support, and they've already written down the two portlets that I've discussed here. And I've also talked to Greg Stump about the two portlets also.
Excellent. All righty. Well, we're definitely going to work with you on these. Let you know either, hopefully it'll be something we can make use of. But if not, we'll certainly let you know why it won't work for us. But yeah, that's I know that's a big use case because there's existing content out there in Google, and so the portlet or the VLab has tools available currently for linking to that, because a portal is designed to basically bring to one location data from various sources, and these can be external ones such as Google, but tighter integration I think is what you're after, and so we're certainly going to work with you on that as well.
Yes.
Have you tried using like an iframe and things like that to meet your needs?
I have not used an iframe yet. I will look into that.
There's also you can create a link page, which is a VLab page that basically links to just another URL, and that might also be a good way to integrate it in.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to update or let people know what I'm doing, and so far I have created a NSSL community, and then I've also created a sub-community of NSSL. Currently I'm working on the administrative community, and I'm in the process of migrating the intranet information and forms into VLab because not a lot of the NSSL users use the internet anymore. So we want to migrate that over to VLab as another way to entice them. And with that, what we're currently doing is we want to we're going to work on some small projects as a demo or as a portfolio, so we can present that into everybody, to the higher ups and to everybody who would like to integrate into VLab. And we hope to eventually have the whole NSSL department using VLab and using all the tools that's available. So.
Excellent. Well, we applaud you for that goal, and you know, certainly contact us whenever we can be of help as you move down that road.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your comments. And I think with that, that pretty much wraps up this month's meeting. Look forward to having everyone back August 26th, and we'll talk to you then.
One comment?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. On Wednesday, July 29th, I'm going to be giving a seminar on VLab just to let people over in NCOS know there is such a thing and that it might be a benefit for them in terms of sharing software. If you want, I can email you a Google Calendar invitation, and you can decide whether you want to share it with the community.
Well, most definitely.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for that. All righty. See you all next month.